Blog Talk Radio. Hello and welcome to the Diva of Our Lives and Friends. This is Carrie. You can find me on Twitter at Diva of DOOL. And if you're following me the last few minutes, I've been going through Twitter about the show Lost. So there's been a few Lost clips on my Twitter right now. Also, you could join our Facebook page, Diva of Our Lives, and I'd like to thank everyone who has been liking us on our Facebook pages. It blows my mind how many people have liked us lately. Thank you very much. You can subscribe to our page here on Blogtalkradio and subscribe to us on iTunes. So, and right now I am on my own. Marianne is at the Pirates game where they're honoring Steve Blass, one of my favorite all-time baseball announcers and Pittsburgh Pirate. And that's all right, though. We got plenty to talk about because it was a fantastic week for Days of Our Lives. So if and you guys haven't been watching lately, I thought this week, Thursday and Friday in particular, were just absolutely amazing episodes with a lot of front burner storylines all coming to a head at the same time. So I'm going to start with Jack and Jennifer finally reuniting. So on Monday, it's revealed that Dr. Shaw was the one who kidnapped Jennifer because he was basically tired of her spurning him, and I felt bad for him. But at the same time, too, after the first time she kind of screwed him over, he could have stopped saying yes. He could have said no, thank you. Find some other plan B. But no, he decided to keep making a go with it with Jen. So he kidnaps Jennifer, and she gets him to talk, and basically Dr. Shaw, his issues go back to his mother. His mother was an alcoholic, and basically she kept abandoning him for men. And then when the men would leave her, then she would go back to her son. So he has issues with abandonment and rejection. So while all this is going on, Jen did manage to call, I think it was Jack, and say that she was kidnapped and what hotel she was in, and then Jack and JJ showed up and they were gone because Shaw took her to Ted's old apartment. And while JJ was investigating Shaw's background, he saw that Shaw had employed Ted Laurent once as an attorney over a property dispute. So somehow from that, they figured out they were at Ted's apartment, probably because Shaw probably, that the apartment was still vacant. So at that point, Shaw did call Jack and tell him where he was because he wanted to slit Jennifer's throat in front of Jack. And he wanted Jennifer to look into Jack's eyes and see that he didn't remember her, which is pretty cruel. So Jack comes over and they start, Jack and Shaw start fighting. And Jack hits his head again. and eventually Shaw is kind of accidentally stabbed and killed. And when Jack hits his head, that's when his memory comes back. And if you guys remember on the podcast, the first time he hit his head, probably wherever it was, 8 months ago, I said all they needed to do was keep hitting him on the head. He didn't need these serums, because that's when he hit his head the last time. That's why he remembered the Loretta, the ship, the Loretta. And so I called it 8 months ago that he just needed hit on the head. I got to brag about that a little bit. So it was some very touching scenes. They had a lot of flashbacks of Jack and Jennifer from their wedding and some of the other escapades they've been in throughout the years. And it was sweet. And Jack, I mean, thank God, I have to say Matt Ashford and Melissa Reeves did a fantastic job with everything. Jack is already a totally different person, more caring and love, and a just completely different person than he was a little earlier just in that week. And, of course, Matt and Missy always have had a fantastic chemistry. But you could see, though, I mean, when he remembered, she was still a little shy around him. Like she didn't want to take things too quickly. But the end of the episode on Friday, he kissed her. And so, yes, if you haven't seen the Jack and Jen stuff, I really recommend watching Friday's episode. So, and Dr. Shaw it has bit the dust, and it looks like no one's going to probably bring him back to life. Yeah, too bad. He made the mistake going after Jennifer. I think he probably should have tried for Hope instead. He might have had better luck with Hope than Jennifer. So that's that storyline. And then let's see what else. Oh, and then we have the Kate situation. So with Kate, due to Vivian basically cutting off her oxygen tube, Kate was deprived of oxygen and fell into a coma. So, and I personally thought Kayla was a little too quick to want to kill her off and donate her organs, because it basically was only about 40 hours. So, since she'd been shot. So, so Lucas had a decision to make, and Will wanted him to slow down, but then Julie had a heart attack. So Julie's life was coming to an end soon, too, and then there's Kate sitting there in a coma, which Kayla kind of thought she was falling into a vegetative state and didn't think Kate would come back to being fully functioning. So Lucas had a pretty agonizing decision, and Will kind of didn't really support him. And just watching those scenes, and then the Marlena scenes from last year, I just hope that I'm never in that situation with my parents, because that just looks absolutely awful. And I have a lot of sympathy for anyone who's had to go through that situation, having to decide to end someone's life like that. So, so Lucas finally decides that he's going to donate Kate's heart to Julie, and there's this really touching scene where Lucas is telling Kate, you know, if you're going to wake up, you know, this is the time to do it. You need to do it now. And Brian Tatella really got to me. He really shook me up on those scenes. Well, the cause of Julie's second heart attack was kind of her own fault. She was trying to get, I think, Eli and Lonnie to tell him what happened to Jennifer. She knew something was going on with Jennifer, but no one was telling her. And then she got, I can't remember her name, JJ's girlfriend. So he tried to get, pardon me. She tried to get her to spill the beans, and she wouldn't do it. So then they got, so Maggie showed up to visit, and I think it's the first time Maggie has bothered to see Joy, and I thought that was a little ridiculous. She could have showed up a little quicker than that. And so Julie just played it off like she knew there was something going on to get so Maggie would think she already knew. So Maggie spilled the beans and said that Jennifer had been kidnapped. So after that, Maggie had her heart attack. I mean, she really flipped out and was being quite dramatic about the whole thing with Jennifer. I mean, Jennifer's been kidnapped before. I mean, it's not that big of a deal. I'm just teasing. So Julie has another heart attack. So that's what prompted Lucas to decide he's going to donate Kate's heart to Julie. So on the other side of town, I'll get back to that story. Xander is talking to Sarah about Sarah's pregnancy, and she schedules her abortion, and she was kind of having second thoughts about it. But when they walked through the town square to go to the clinic, they ran into Nicole, Eric, and they were happy. And they just dropped Holly off at preschool, and Holly made Eric a red heart that he put on his shirt, and that was really sweet. So that kind of actually prompted Sarah into deciding to have the abortion because she kind of felt like those three were a family and she didn't want to interfere. So Xander, though, like the night before, accidentally let it slip, and I don't know how you accidentally let something like that slip, that Sarah was pregnant with Eric's baby and she was going to have an abortion. So Kristen decided that she was going to steal Sarah's baby, and that Sarah wouldn't know, but she would just assume that the abortion was successful. So she calls Dr. Rolfe, and he runs some tests on Kristen and tries to get her prepared to receive the fetus, and takes her to the clinic. And while Sarah is under anesthesia, Xander chokes out a doctor, and Dr. Rolfe and Kristen come in, and Kristen said she's ready for the procedure, and Dr. Rolfe said she's already pregnant, so he could not do the procedure. And so, of course, Kristen's just thrilled, and basically her and Dr. Rolfe ended up just leaving, and leaving Xander to tell Sarah when she woke up that the abortion didn't happen because the doctor had to leave for an emergency. But while Kristen was waiting for Dr. Rolfe to show up at the clinic, he was actually at the hospital. He said he needed to get some equipment there. But in the meantime, he actually injected Kate, and he ended up reviving Kate. They were wheeling, right before they wheeled Kate out into the near the reception area. They were going to take her down to the operating room. That's when she revived. And basically, to be blunt about it, scared the crap out of everybody. She scared the crap out of Kayla and Lucas and Will. And to the point they're actually scared now to say how close she was to death. So hold on 1 minute, please. We are having some technical difficulties with Blog Talk Radio, so if you're trying to call in, it's for some reason the calls are not coming through. So hold on. That's why I am a co-host list at the time, because looks like no one's able to come through right now. But until we get Blog Talk Radio working, I'll just keep talking. So Kate wakes up and she's fine. She doesn't seem to remember what happened to her. She said the last thing she remembered was picking out an outfit for first day of work. And then Lucas, I think, went off to talk to Kayla, and then Will was talking to Kate, and he was kind of filled her in a bit of what happened and said, you've been shot and you dug yourself out of a grave and walked yourself to the hospital. And Kate was just shocked that she did all that. And I believe it was Will actually told her she was shot by Vivian. Because Kate actually was still under the impression that Vivian was dead. And that's when she started flashing back and then remembered Vivian shooting her and her falling into the grave. So Kate's still kind of wondering what was going on and why she was kind of out in the reception area, and no one's told her yet. And Will and Lucas are both just scared to death as they tell her that she almost had her heart transplanted to Julie. So that's where we're at with Kate, and that was pretty interesting stuff. And it was a bit scary when she woke up like that, when she got revived so abruptly. But those were pretty cool scenes, and I do recommend you guys check these out. So let's see what's going on with our next storyline. Okay, and then with Vivian, we didn't have too much going on with that storyline. Will, in the beginning of the week, was in the Demira foyer, and he was eavesdropping on Stefan and Vivian, but he didn't quite get any information out of those two at all about what was going on with Kate. And then Gabby came down the stairs and caught him. And so he asked her flat out, does she know anything? Which one of them did it? Was it Stefan, which is Vivian? And Gabby just says she doesn't really know anything. And Will's pretty upset, that about what's going on with Kate and Julie. And Gabby hugs him, and then Stefan and Vivian came in and walked in on them. And Vivian tried to console Will because she thought that Kate was already dead, and that's why he was there, because she thought she successfully killed off Kate when she cut off her oxygen supply. So, and that's when Will told her, no, Kate's still alive. So Gabby's got some guilty conscience there, but she lied to Will, and of course she's quite fond of Will and him being the father of her daughter, and they've going way back pretty much till, I guess it's high school or maybe a little bit after high school, so they've known each other a long time. So she's pretty upset about it, that she loves Stefan and doesn't want to get his mother into trouble, even though she doesn't care for Vivian at all. And Vivian basically is trying to get rid of Gabby, and Stefan doesn't want anything to do with that. And basically, Stefan lets Vivian know that Gabby's basically number one in his life, and he's happy with her, and Vivian's not too happy about that. And the other storyline would be Miss Jordan came back from Bayview, and right now I'd say, other than Ben, I don't think Bayview has a very good track record, because it doesn't seem like people are coming back from Bayview better. I'm not sure how Jordan got released, but she seems just as delusional as she was before. So I'm assuming that's the path she's going to take, but she doesn't seem at all to be aware that what she did was wrong. She doesn't think what she did was wrong in the first place. Kidnapping Sierra and kidnapping Charlotte. She doesn't see any of that. She has no remorse at all. She doesn't think she did anything wrong, and she thought she was protecting all these people from Ben. So Jordan is refusing to let Ben be around baby David, which it's, she's the mother. That is her call. And actually, I understand Jordan's point of view, but Jordan has a screw loose too. So that's kind of like, to me, it's the pot calling the kettle black. And even, it looks like Ben, though, did get reformed, though, and Jordan hasn't really at all. She still seems a little nuts. to the point where she's almost, I'd say, threatening towards Sierra. So I'm really not into this storyline. It seems to me just a rehash of the last Jordan storylines. I don't really see the point of doing this again unless they're planning on killing off Jordan and giving David to Rafe. I'm not sure what the point of this whole storyline is, and I'm not interested in Sierra being tied up and somewhere in a cabin and that's on fire. I'm not really interested in Ben rescuing her again. I mean, that's boring. I mean, good grief. How many times can one woman be kidnapped in a year? I just don't get it. It makes no sense to me. That's where we're at. So, so Ben knows there's something off with Jordan. He doesn't think that she has been helped at all. So he goes to Marlena to try to get her help because he thinks maybe she can get Jordan recommitted. And Marlena's not treating Jordan. It's really kind of not her place to really do anything to help. But obviously you should see how concerned Ben is with for Sierra's safety around Jordan. Okay. So I think that's about it for this week. And because of our technical issues, I don't think I'm going to be able to get any callers because I have some people texting me saying they can't get on. And I don't think too much else happened this week other than Brady saying he can't seem to get Kristen out of his head, that he's really drawn to her. I think he was confiding with that to Sarah. And honestly, I think if Brady just went to work once in a while, maybe he would be a little bit better off. He'd be a bit distracted. And he wouldn't think about Kristen too much. But, Brady doesn't seem to work that much. Let me think of it. I can't think of any other characters did anything this week. No, Kayla mostly did the doctor stuff. Don't think too much else happened this week. Oh, there was this weird proposal by Julie to Maggie. This was just completely odd and out of the blue. Julie asked Maggie to divorce Victor and marry Doug so Maggie can take care of Doug. No, that's just weird. Okay. Number one, if Doug really does need help, and I understand that Bill Hayes is in his 90s, then, Hope can take care of Doug. And that's, and I don't think Doug's interested in remarriage anyway, and that's just kind of bizarre to force a woman on your husband. And it's very bizarre to ask a woman to divorce her husband to be with your husband. That's just, that was just weird. And I know Julie's a bit controlling and all that, but I think I understand her intentions are good. She wants someone to take care of Doug, and maybe she thinks if Maggie takes care of Doug, maybe it wouldn't be so painful for him when she's gone, when Julie passes away. But the whole thing is just bizarre because I don't understand why she would think Maggie would agree to that. And obviously the magic marriage has been pretty rocky, and they fight and make up, and usually, Victor does something wrong and Maggie forgives him. But it didn't really seem like they were on any type of verge of getting divorced, and it didn't seem like they were out of love. They were just kind of mad at each other. So I don't understand that request. It just seemed weird and completely out of the blue. And I don't know. Hopefully it's just a throwaway conversation. I don't think it's something that could truly happen, but I don't know. But yeah, so that happened this week, though. I have to give Julie credit, though, for after having a heart attack and being basically attached to all these machines, that her brain is so freaking sharp that she basically tricked Maggie into confessing what's going on with Jennifer's kidnapping. I mean, that was just genius, and that's just classic Julie, and that's why I love Julie so much. And I think Julie's been one of my favorite characters for a while. And I did not grow up watching Doug and Julie. Doug and Julie, to me, they kind of just went in and out of the show when I started watching in 1984, 1985, something like that. And I honestly didn't even know Julie and Hope were sisters. I thought Julie was her stepmother. I didn't realize it was stepmother / sister because I didn't know the character of Addie and how she died and all that, and how Doug ended up with Addie and not with Julie. And I really didn't know that storyline. But even with not knowing the beginning of Doug and Julie, I still enjoy the character Julie and Susan Seaforth Hayes, and I think she's just a phenomenal actress. And I'm so glad they gave Susan and Bill Hayes a great storyline. So with all that being said, I managed to talk for a half an hour by myself, and I think I'm going to end it here for tonight. I'm sorry about the technical difficulties with Blogtalkradio. I have no idea why the guest queue is not working. I don't see a single phone call, and I know people have called in several times today. Well, let's hope for the best for next week, and I'm looking forward to this week's shows. Looks like we've got some more great drama going on. I'm looking forward to seeing Jack back together with his family and his friends and actually remembering them this time. I think that's going to be great. And then Jack and Jennifer being romantic together. I'm looking forward to that. And Jack with JJ. That's all great stuff, and I can't wait to see it. So thanks for listening, and we'll hear from you guys next week. Good night.
It can get lonely climbing Mount McKinley, so to entertain myself, I go to ChumbaCasino.com. At Chumba Casino, I can play hundreds of online casino-style games for free, like online slots, bingo, Slingo, and more. Plus, I get a daily login bonus. It's just too bad that up here, I don't have anyone to share my excitement with. Woohoo! Woohoo!
Live the Chumba life. Anytime, anywhere. Play for free now at ChumbaCasino.com. VGW Group. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.